Sorry.
No, yes, each candidate has a 30-second response. Mr. Speer.
My question is, or my statement is, if taxes are so important to the Maturo administration currently, why have we raised taxes 15% over the last 4 years? And on top of that, where's our 17% rollback that were promised in the 2011 campaign that you ran?
Would you like to respond?
Sure. Well, if we really look at the paperwork, the house that Michael lives in, I'm not sure if he owns it or not, but since I've been in office over the last 4 years, that particular house is paying $900 less than they were 4 short years ago. Before we can lower the tax rate to that 17%, we still have to fix the financial mess that I inherited 4 short years ago, when we had $200,000 in our rainy day fund, when we're supposed to have $4.4 million. But 70% of the people got a tax break last year.
Stop sign, thank you.
And everyone got a tax break this year.
And I would love to.
No, thank you.
No, I'm sorry.
No, that is not. No. We will not do that. Afterwards, in your statement, you can mention that, or maybe something will come up in a question. Mr. Maturo.
Yes.
If elected mayor, the money for the West End should be spent. When will this happen?
But right now, the money's sitting on the desk of the bonding commission up in Hartford. There's approximately $1.2 million, I believe it is. And as soon as that money is released by the governor at the next bonding commission, hopefully it's done at the next bonding commission, we'll be able to spend that money right away, because we already have the plans ready for the West End to go. And we have spent money in the West End before, but these plans will make the West End have period lighting like we have on in front of Town Hall, the same kind of sidewalks, you know how you see it with the brick in the sidewalk as we do in front of Town Hall, some of the planters, some of the trees that we have in front of Town Hall, but all that can be done as soon as the money is released by the governor.
Same question to Mr. Speer. If elected mayor, the money for the West End should be spent. When will this happen?
Well, I'm first off going to touch back on the last thing when we were talking about the taxes. The taxes were still raised. The mill rate still went up. And if you talk about the rainy day fund and the $4 million, you tout a budget and a surplus, but your last budget in 2008 showed a revenue shortfall of $3.5 million, and you touted a surplus of $600,000. When in actuality, you rated the rainy day fund, which at the time was at $4 million. You took the $3.1 million from the rainy day fund to offset your revenue shortfall and defunded the appropriations line for the rainy day fund on your last budget, which was supposed to be the $600,000 that I mentioned. So when you put it all together, presto, you wind up with showing a surplus, and in the end, we had $4 million in our rainy day fund, and we are left with less than $1 million, and we could probably get this done a lot quicker with another Democratic town. I will continue to answer that question now about the
thank you. Are we timers checking the timing?
Okay, so we're still going. All right.
Okay.
So
thank you.
30 seconds. All right. So continue
okay.
with the West End question. Yes, we do have that money waiting for us, but there's a lot that needs to be done. It's not just the West End. We cannot forget about Fox, and we cannot forget about down near the beach area. One area that I'm in a great position, if elected your mayor, is the mock-up of our state is a Democratic government. We can advocate on behalf of East Haven to make sure that East Haven's getting all of the money that's out there besides just the $1.2 million, and try and dress up the town. The West End is exactly one of the entrance points of East Haven, and we will do our best to make sure that we improve the quality.
Thank you. Mr. Maturo, would you like to respond?
I'm not quite sure how fast he ran off those numbers in the very beginning, because it's hard for me to hear them because the speakers are out there. But I have some numbers written down too, and I have no clue where he got them from. But in 2007, when I left office, we had $4 million in the surplus. By 2010, when your party, as you call when a Democrat was in office, I usually don't change party to party, we were down to a $5.2 million deficit. By the time I came into office, there was only $200,000 in there, and Moody's and Standard & Poor's lowered our rating. And my time is up. But those are the facts.
Would you like to respond to that?
Wait, that wasn't my question. That was a rebuttal.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, that was the rebuttal. Very difficult to see. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Well, just to make sure so Joe can have this answer. He can. Thank you for the proper, but if you want the paperwork, you can.
Wait a minute, Mr. Speer, you can comment too. Yes.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the crowd. There you go. We do have the paperwork right in front with my campaign manager showing the exact budget that was left by Joe in 2008, and I rest my case with that one. You can see it for yourself.
This question to Mr. Speer. What new ideas do you bring to the town?
New ideas start with innovation, the next generation, focusing on where we're going to be 15, 20 years from now, not just a political stunt to be here for the next 2 years or what we've done in the past 10 years. If you only focus on the past or the present, you're certain to miss the future. We must focus on bringing in more businesses, keeping the businesses we have here afloat and helping them thrive. We must do a lot with our community to rebrand our image that will allow our children to want to come home after college and want to participate and be an East Haven resident again and take pride in their community as we all have and would like to see again.
Thank you. Mr. Maturo.
Could you repeat that, please?
What new ideas do you bring to the town?
Well, the new ideas is a lot of some of the past ideas that we've had. Again, the most important aspect of our community is our financials. So we have to keep track of what we do in our financials and prioritize where we can spend and when we can spend. Again, since we have our money in our rainy day fund now, we are able to maybe go out and borrow some money for our restructuring of Co Avenue. We have that on the plans too. We have money set aside for reorganizing Co Avenue and the intersection of Short Beach Road. As everybody knows, it's been flooding. We get an inch of rain and nobody can get to our shorefront. That's in the works. We also have some economic development plan for Route 80 and for the west end of Main Street as we talked about. We have the work going to be done on the recreational center up in Foxen. We have money set aside for that. As soon as the developer is ready to work on that building, that can get set underway. So you have to get your financials in order before you are able to invest in a lot of that infrastructure. And in the next administration under the Republicans or fiscal conservatives, as you found out tonight, that we will be able to do some of that work instead of putting money to set aside to pay off old debt that we've been carrying over the last 30 or 40 years.
Mr. Speer, would you like to respond?
I'm very glad that he just made it known that him and Sal Maltese have the exact same vision for our town, calling themselves Republicans, since Sal is saying that he is still a Republican and is one of Joe's buddies. So glad to see that a vote for Maltese is a vote for Maturo.
Thank you.